Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on top 25 ways to get your prospects to believe you and close more sales. I'm Tim Ryan, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County, and I'll be your host. Our presenter today is Ed Winslow. More on Ed in just a minute. First, some brief info on SCORE. There's over 320 offices and 11,000 volunteers nationwide, and we're part of the Small Business Administration. SCORE Fairfield County has over 130 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. We offer 3 primary value-added services to small business owners. 1, free one-on-one counseling. 2, educational workshops and webinars, over 150 per year. 3, extensive resources on our website, including templates to help you with your business plan development. SCORE puts on many webinars each month. Look for future events out on our webinar calendar at fairfieldcounty.score.org. Some useful information about today's event. If you have a question, please use the chat window at any time during the presentation. It is located in the lower part of your screen. Our webinar will end at 1 p.m. to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and the link to the recording will be available at fairfieldcounty.score.org within the next couple of days. Now, our speaker. Ed Winslow is the founder and owner of Niche Quest Media, a digital marketing agency with clients nationwide. Ed is also the creator of 10xdisplayads.com, providing retargeting strategies for small to large companies. Ed lives in Wilton, Connecticut. It's all yours, Ed.
All right. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. Beautiful day out. Nice to see some spring and some warm weather finally. So anyway, the reason I wanted to mention these put together this list of 25 believability factors is, we're all online. Everybody's online, and one of the big issues is that it's become a very, very competitive arena. Both online and offline. And so there are a number of there's a number of tactics that you can use to make your strategy more believable. Everybody's going online. They're looking at your website. They're looking at your social media. And how do you stand out? How do you make yourself memorable? And it really there's a number of different things. So let's start out. I'm going to start out with this one right here. This is a company called Enforce Coverage Group. They're a workers' compensation insurance company, and they're an agency based in New York City. Since COVID, they've expanded into their home offices. One actually is in Wilton, Connecticut, and the other is in Huntington, Long Island. And so one of the things that's very unique about them, and I wanted to start with them, is that they are very, very focused. Their business is focused on business insurance, primarily workers' comp, business liability insurance. And when you go and look at their website, and their entire strategy is built around workers' compensation insurance cost and rates. And that's a very significant thing. So if you go over and look at their website is enforcecoveragegroup.com, but if you were to go over and look at their blog, you would see all their blogs are very, very similar, but they're very niche specific. Like here's an example of, workers' comp insurance rates for dairy manufacturing, another one for food manufacturing. The one below on the left is commercial drivers, and the other one's for fabrics. And so what happens is, by having a very, very clear message and a strategy that they're replicating over and over, driven by their blogs, they've built a brand name that has become trustworthy. People use it. It's become a big, not only an online strategy, but they generate a lot of word of mouth. And that is, right there, I would say, number one, create a memorable strategy for your business. So number two is what they call the rule of 7. If you're not familiar with the rule of 7, it basically says that it takes 7 touches with someone before they trust you enough to do business with you. And really that to implement the rule of seven, it really comes down to your business strategy. So when you're focused on one niche or one marketplace and you're in front of your audience over and over and over and over, that creates believability, that creates trust, and that's what converts to new clients. So that's a real key thing. It goes back to the strategy again. Quotes from third-party authorities. This is a really interesting one. This is a clip from this is Tony Robbins on the left and Russell Brunson on the right. And one of the things that you can do, and I use this a lot, to give, validate a statement that I might make. And so what they, here's a quote: if you want to achieve success, all you want to do is find a way to model those who have already succeeded. What's really neat about this tactic is that Tony Robbins and Russell Brunson are very, very well known. Now, if I make the comment, if you want to achieve success, all you need to do is model those who have already succeeded. It doesn't carry the weight. I'm not a celebrity like these guys. I'm just, a small internet marketing agency owner. But if I use their quote, it gives power to me because it's almost as if it's coming out of me. So I've used this. I've been working on using this with a lot of different businesses that we work with, where we'll take, and this is sort of an interesting, anybody can utilize this tactic. And what's really neat about it is that if you do a Google search for any topic that you can ever imagine and do a search for like famous quotes for, and you could type in any word and you're going to find tons of quotes that relate to that particular topic. So you could do famous quotes about, dentists, for example, and you're going to get lots of resources. You could do famous quotes about smiles, and you're going to get famous quotes about smiles. And then you can, as a dental practice, you could use those quotes, like maybe on the top, instead of doing a big list of third-party quotes, you could use one on top of your page that relates to that particular topic. So you'll find that if you start doing searches very specifically, that you're going to get deep niche results related to quotes. And then you can utilize those quotes as it relates to each individual page. Or if you're using them on social media, whatever it is that you want to give more credibility to, you can find very specific quotes. So that's a really, really neat tactic. This is another one that's a really, really big deal. It's called identification factors. And this is a really interesting topic. This is something I picked up from a book called Breakthrough Advertising by Gene Schwartz, and it's an old advertising book, but it's still very valid today and will be forever. And what Gene Schwartz talks about in the book Breakthrough Advertising is that what people really want, what the demand is not so much for the product or the service, but what it does for them. And so what really connects with people are what are called identification factors. And in this image here, this is sort of neat. What we did was we applied this to a dental site. And so this is on the home page of the site. You can, the site is eastcedardental.com. You can actually take a look at it. And right up above this image here is a picture of the doctor, the dentist, a little information about the business. But rather than scrolling down and saying, hey, we've been in business for 25 years, we do dental implants and, Invisalign braces and things like that. What we did was we focused on who the target audience is. And so each one of these images here is clickable and takes you to a page. And what we did was the pages are all written around like questions and answers that people have. So it's sort of a neat concept, and this is working. We just applied this recently, and the traffic to all these pages from the views from the existing traffic to the site to these pages has been extremely high in a very short period of time. And what happens is people are going onto this page and they're looking at each one of these images and as it relates to them. So this website is all about the patient. It's not about the dentist. And it's a really, it's so interesting because when you click it almost tells a story because it's taking someone through their entire life cycle. And you can click each one of these and it just explains dental issues at each phase of life, which is really interesting because it just creates more belief. You know, the dentist is becoming a trusted resource, and it's working. Offer stacks. So offer stacks, you've seen these probably on a lot of infomercials. You can use them on any kind of website. You can use them on your e-commerce store. But what it's doing here is what they've done in this particular example, you have a list of all these different products that add up to like a bundle. And you can see like the total value is $418, but you can buy it for $247. You can save $171, but you're getting the pumpkin moisturizer, you're getting the sugar body mask, you're getting the sunless priming spray, on and on and on. And so what you're doing is you're creating like an unbelievable offer. And, that's another really neat strategy. Let's see how we doing on time. Okay, we're at 2:12. Okay, I got this one from, this is sort of interesting. There's a guy named Brian Moran who is he's a really successful marketer. He runs like an information services business. And in one of the courses I took with him, I just kept this screenshot because I thought it was so interesting. And the story here was he had a friend who was going to medical school, and he was also his hobby was to build these farm tables, these custom farm tables. And so he thought that, well, maybe he could make some money while he's going through medical school to supplement his his costs. And so what he did was he created these tables and he would advertise them on Craigslist, and he was getting zero results. And so Brian Moran looked at his ads and said, let's create a like a value stack. Let's list all the things, all the benefits that you get when you buy one of these tables. And if you look at them, they're very simple, like handmade by an expert craftsman, save 72% over restoration hardware and Pottery Barn. Solid wood construction, so your new table is built to last. I mean, very, very obvious things. But what happened, the story that he mentioned was that once they added these benefits in list formats with check marks, the value stack actually started to convert, and the amount of sales that he made it skyrocketed just from something very similar like to this. So this is another belief factor. Okay, real photos really makes a difference. People they scan over stock photos. They really become unbelievable. People don't really, I would say stock photos really don't convert today. Once upon the time they did, a number of years ago, but today you want to use local photos. Now these I took from my Google My Business account. And then if you're in the Norwalk, Connecticut area, these are pictures of local buildings. And if you're a local business, especially if you're a local business, if you take photos of local, if you're, let's say, in a downtown, take photos of your local, of the businesses and the kinds of buildings that are in local towns. That will help That will help connect with your consumer. You know, they'll feel very comfortable that they're dealing with somebody who's a real business, who's local. And you know, it's interesting. There was a survey that Spotify or Shopify, I think it was, is it Shopify, did that, where that's an e-commerce platform. They did this big survey and they found that almost 60% of consumers would rather buy from a local business. And so this is you know, sort of validates that concept that make yourself look local, make yourself look real. It'll make you a lot more believable. Okay, if you're case studies are awesome. Case studies, I think, are, you know, really one of the most valuable things that, especially if you're in, you know, if you're in the construction business or if you're in real estate, if there's any way that you can create case studies. Case studies are, I think they're the highest converting kind of pages online because they provide proof. They're much more valuable than reviews, pretty much anything, I think. And I just like, you could actually do a search online if you wanted. You could search like metal tank painting Portland or metal tank painting Oregon, and you're going to find this particular blog post. And you'll see that the date on the Google organic search result goes back to 2015. This particular case study has been like #1 on a Google search for 6 years. Now, it's not very competitive, but this particular client just he just got $150,000 project painting a fuel tank for some kind of sugar company. And what they did a search for tank painting in Oregon, and they found this particular blog post, and it explains all the different steps. I mean, I think it was, I don't think that this post was more than 250 words. And it's every year for the last 6 years, it's been producing revenue. Here's another one. Press releases are another great tool for creating believability. And this is one, there's a company called Cogent Realty that I work with in New York City. It's a one-man operation who leases office space. And you know, a few times a year we'll create a press release, and you will utilize what are called these premium press releases that get on, you know, high value sites like Yahoo Finance, for example. And what you can do with these is you can also use these, you know, on your website. You can put a link on your website, or you can take a screenshot like this and say, hey, we were just featured on Yahoo Finance. You can use them in your social media postings, but they give you a lot of credibility. So press releases, when they're used a certain way, provide a lot of credibility, a lot of belief. And this has worked very, very well for this client. We do a lot of these press releases. They work pretty well. Let's see. This is a really, really awesome one. This really goes back to your you know, identification factor, like we did with the dental site. But this is actually the Peloton site. And if you ever go over and take a look at the Peloton site, I think the Peloton site is just like, it's genius marketing, because what they've done is they have focused on their profile users, and they've broken their profile users down to many, many different categories. You know, men, women, age. Like if you look at this one here, what's really interesting about this is that if you look over on the wall, you can see he's got like a frame of a metal. The one up top up here on the left, you can see it's like he's got his track jersey and a medal. So when you look at this image, if you are this person, they've used these identification factors in this image. Like you can see the surroundings. This is all not random. This isn't just this picture, and all the pictures throughout the Peloton site are really, really amazing. I mean, you can model your website around what Peloton has done. And you probably would never notice this unless you heard you know, why this works. But if you look throughout the Peloton site, you're going to find all these different identification factors. You can see it's, you know, this individual, maybe he's about 30. He was a former athlete. He's in what looks like an upscale home, you know, successful. You know, they've got the weights, and then down below you can't see, but they've got music. So it's pretty interesting. If you go through the Peloton site, you're going to see this used over and over and over constantly. And what it does is it connects with all kinds of different profiles. You know, it could be like they have pictures like this of like a mom with their kids on the floor. So that, you know, you'll see, take a look at the website and start clicking through the website and looking at all the images, because any business can utilize this exact same strategy, because we don't have one client. All our profile clients that we work with are all different. They all have different needs. They have different wants. They're different people. So if you can utilize identity factors like they've done here on Peloton, it's going to just make you a much more memorable and trustworthy resource. Okay. This one, number 11, Google rank. The more you rank on Google for tons and tons of different searches in your niche market, the more believable you are. There's no question about it. Anyone who is ranking number one holds a lot of credibility. And like this one here, this is interesting. This is this image here. If you do a search for office space cost, World Trade Center, we built a strategy for this one person business. And this is really pretty wild. This is a one person business that used to have, he had 20 brokers working for him. And going back to 2008 through 12, when the real estate markets had gone down from the last economic down cycle, he lost all his employees, all his brokers, and he ended up by himself. So we needed a strategy to get more business. And so what we did was we worked on targeting office space cost by individual building in New York City, assuming that what somebody would do a search for when they're looking to lease space is how much does it cost? And building by building, neighborhood by neighborhood. And this worked. And what's really interesting about this is that this position here, this is called position 0. It's above, like you can see he ranks right down here as well. That would be the first organic position. This is what they call position 0. This is a featured snippet. And you can see he really needs to update this, but this has been ranking since 2017. This strategy has been very effective for bringing in new clients for leasing clients. He's made a fortune off this. A lot of international clients that want to be in New York City. Now it's been a little slow during COVID. It's starting to come back for him, but this strategy works really, really well. So if you're getting Google rankings, just gives you a huge credibility. Okay, your Google My Business account. Google My Business has really become, for a lot of local markets, you'll hear it a lot, that it's the new SEO, the new search engine optimization. And this is a business in New York City that we work with. They build custom aquariums, and they rank number one for this Google My Business position. Their Google My Business position in the New York City area in the last 30 days has about 100,000 views, which is extraordinary. And this is another factor. The more visibility that you have, the more credibility you have, the more trustworthy you are, the more word of mouth, the more believable you are, the more word of mouth business that you're going to get. All right, so let's see, Google reviews. Okay, Google reviews, yeah, that's a big business. You know, Google has really opened up a whole industry here of review marketing. And this one here, for example, Cherry Hill Radiology is the search term, South Jersey Radiology. This is one of their offices. They have 63 reviews and at a 4.5-star rating. There have been some reports regarding the what is the most believable review ratings, and I don't know the exact number, but it's like somewhere in the 4.5 to 4.8. I think people, when you see a lot of reviews and they're all 5-star, people get a little bit suspicious that they're manufactured. Um, One thing about reviews is that people are going to always, if they're going to do business with somebody or they're thinking about doing business with a company, they're going to go look at the reviews. And it may not that it's going to make them more believable, but it's certainly not going to make them less believable. And it's just another factor as part of the overall marketing strategy that's really, really key. And there's a lot of software out there that can help with your review marketing, but reviews, don't overlook them. They're valuable. And I wish I had more time to spend on getting better reviews. I think we all would, but certainly another valuable belief factor that will help you get more business. Okay. Yeah, so I sort of touched on this earlier. Questions and answers. If when you do a Google search today, you're going to see that, especially in local markets, you're going to see a lot of Google questions and answers posted, and that these are really important today. That Google will give you favorability on their rankings when you target questions and answers, and it's just another great source of information. Like this one here, going back to the dental position I showed you earlier, when you click this particular image and it takes you over to this page where you've got all these questions and answers, it's all information. You're becoming you're becoming the trusted expert in your market. So anytime you can capitalize on questions and answers, that is certainly going to make you much more. It's going to make you the trusted expert. Okay. Another key part of this whole thing is really it's what they call the 5 stages of a consumer. And most consumers, I mean, you think about anything that you buy, or any service that you hire. When you start out at the very beginning, you're going to start out maybe not even knowing why you might need something. It might just be an idea in your mind, and you're beginning the journey of searching for something that you think you might want. And in the beginning, you're not going to trust the resources that you find. You may not be ready. You may not know that you need the service. You don't know if the providers that you're searching and finding provide the solution to what you're working for, or to what you're looking for. But it's really important when you're dealing with clients to understand where your prospect is in the life of their journey. Because at the the lowest level, the consumer doesn't know what you provide is for them. And then they go through this cycle of becoming more educated all the way to the top, where it's like, okay, I get it. I see what you offer. I see what the benefit is to me. I want it. The final question would be, okay, how much is it? But if you try and sell someone who's like at a level 3 and not ready to buy, they're not educated enough, and you try and sell to them like they're at the ultimate buying level, you risk betraying their trust. So I think it's really, really important to understand these 5 stages of where your prospect is in their journey of buying. Okay, I mentioned this again. This is in the dental market, that picture words. There's a great book. You can get it from briankurtz.net, and it's called The Brilliance Breakthrough. And The Brilliance Breakthrough is just an awesome book, and it's all about what they call picture words and connector words. And picture words, the concept here is that people do not remember words. They remember images. So if you can create sentences that convey an image in someone's mind. And you can stitch a couple of these together. Like this one here, going back to the concept of quotes, using quotes. I love the way you smile. It makes your eyes sparkle. And this is a quote from an actor that I found online. And I really like this because it's utilizing the quotes, which helps, validate your statement. But imagine if you're a dental practice and you put, I love the way you smile, it makes your eyes sparkle on top of a page. And you read this, it all of a sudden you look at this picture and all of a sudden you're looking at this woman's eyes. And it all of a sudden it sort of brings her to life, and it creates an image in your mind. And that makes the whole experience much more, it packs a lot of power. It adds a lot more believability and a lot more memorability to this particular site. So if this particular, if a dental practice utilizes something like this, where they're using something like this, like I like using quotes because they already have like picture words sort of built into them. So you don't have to be a really extraordinary copywriter to come up with unique topics for a particular page. There's another one that I saw, which was it was by Mother Teresa, and it's like peace begins with a smile. And it sort of creates an image in your mind, and it really substantiates the value of smiles. And what people really don't care about, it's not like anybody really wants to go to the dentist. Like, hey, I want to go to the dentist. I want to get my teeth cleaned. Nobody wants that, but they want what it does. And this is a way to achieve that. All right, let's see how we're doing. Facebook, using Facebook as a business page. This was something that I work with a private coach that's been helping me build my Facebook group. And I have a Facebook group called Local Marketing Strategies. It's a private group, and I built it up to almost about 700 members so far in a fairly short period of time. But one of the tactics that I learned is to utilize your personal page as a business page. So that's a free page. And I've done this. And what I've done is people will search me out. Like if I go to different groups and I make comments in different Facebook groups, and if it's something of value, people will check me out. They'll go look at my personal page. And rather than sharing, pictures of, my favorite dog or cat or what I, had for dinner at a restaurant last night, I will post my business things because I don't really want to share my personal life with the world. But I've done this on Facebook. And this is a pretty awesome tactic. So if you were to check me out and look, you'll see that what I'm doing is I'm posting about what's in my private Facebook group. So people will come and they'll check me out. If they like what they see, then they come over. The next step is they'll come over and they'll ask to join my private Facebook group. And then they start to follow me. So that's a really cool belief tactic that anybody can apply. I would definitely recommend it. Number 18, how are we doing on time? 12:33, okay. Number 18, using words that convey logic. I really feel like I need to create a guide on this, like some kind of PDF download, but using words that convey logic to intensify belief. Phrases such as simply because, or as an example, or there's a reason for this, or this has been proved by, or here's why, or the fact is, or these experts found. Those kind of words can be utilized in your content to give you more credibility, more belief. All right, we've got a few more here. Be truthful. I have a website called igniteyourseo.com, and my statement is SEO services that actually work. So if you're going to make a statement like that, you better be able to back it up. in our case, we can back it up. We've got, you know, hundreds of case studies. But be truthful, and, you know, making strong statements is you know, is a really, really awesome tactic. But make sure that you also substantiate it. Just don't say, "Hey, I'm the best." If you're going to say I'm the best, or I'm awesome, or, you know, whatever it is, you know, any kind of statement that you're going to make, don't just idly say, you know, this is the best product, or this is the best whatever, or I'm the best. You got to follow that up right away with, and substantiate it. And if you do, it's going to work. It's just going to you're making a statement. People will remember the statement, and then you're supporting it with proof. Proof can be case studies, it can be testimonials, it can be those are two ideal ones. You know, reviews and case studies are fantastic. 38 ways to you know, strengthen your headline. This is you know, this is a tactic that I've learned coming out of the Breakthrough Advertising book. And you know, I put together a PDF of like a whole recap of the Breakthrough Advertising. And if you look right down here, it says, you know, think about the give back benefit line. I happen to see this on a TV commercial, and what they do is instead of saying, we're going to give you a discount, what the advertisement says is, we're going to give you this give back benefit. So if you buy this, you get this credit. And it's just another way of strengthening your headline with a different angle. So, you know, we're always trying to find angles. Now, one of the ways that you can utilize for your business to find ideas to strengthen your message and to come up with different ideas for your message is to go over to Google Images. So whatever business you're in, you can do a Google search and then go look over at Google Images. And what I like about Google Images is that you're going to find a lot, you're going to find images, you know, and graphics that relate to that particular search. And you're going to be able to find very quickly different words, different images, things like that, that you can utilize to add more value to your words. Sort of like the word big give back benefit rather than a discount. Okay, motivation research. Okay, this is this motivation research. This is number 21. We're almost done here. Motivation research is just, you know, that goes back to the idea of identification factors, and the way, you know, we know from, you know, looking at you know, the Peloton site, that they're using motivation research. You know, they're thinking about, you know, who they must have this big whiteboard and saying, okay, let's start to list all the types of people that buy our Peloton. You know, what is the age? Who are they? What are their lives like? And what you can do is you can utilize this. This is such a valuable tactic. But again, if you do individual searches about your particular business and start doing these deeper niche searches that relate to your business, and again, go over to Google Images, because Google Images is going to show you, they're going to help you along this path of figuring out who your customer is. And you want to break that customer down many different ways. That's what's called motivation research. That's probably the most important, one of the most important things that we can do, is to really think about who is our client and build our entire sales strategy, whether it's online, offline, doesn't matter, thinking about who is our target audience. Because it's not one person. You know, it's not one person that wants everything. You know, it's everybody has a different need, has a different desire. This one here is, again, I've created this guide, which is all about, 11 ways to strengthen desire. Um, I have, I've been questioning whether I should, make this public or not, but this one here, it's, gets into, be blunt, tell what your product does, show the benefits, you know, bring in the prospect and explain what happens when they buy your product or service. What's the benefit to them right away? Show how the results work. You can easily, you can compare, like number 7 on this list here is compare and contrast the old with the new. Show how your product compares with old products. And, another thing you can do, which is, which really is another, interesting factor, is if when you look at the Peloton model, one of the things that they've done, which we're seeing a lot of today because of the use of the application of technology to a lot of old types of businesses that have been around forever, is what Peloton has done is they've taken a product, which is a spin cycle, of which if you do a search for spin cycles, you're going to find many different kinds of spin cycles. So you can't differentiate one from the other. It's hard to tell. One might be $500, another might be $200. So what's the difference? So that's a very, very competitive market. But what Peloton has done is they have taken a spin cycle and they've combined the computer screen with workouts to create a whole new product. So they have moved their spin cycle out of the, we'll call it a red ocean where everybody's competing and it's a bloody water, blood in the water. They've moved into the blue ocean where the competition is very, very light. And we're seeing that like with Tesla cars. Tesla's doing the same thing. They have taken a car and they've combined it with a computer, and they're moving that product away from, your typical, gas powered engine. But that tactic is being utilized over and over and over. And that's where this fabulous wealth is being created, where people are taking, they're applying technology to things that have been around forever. And I think you can, you have to be a little bit clever with your own business and how you can do that. But if you can figure out ways to, combine technology with your business, it's going to put you in a position of lower competition. Let's see, number 23, display ads and retargeting. We've had amazing results with display ads and retargeting, and they sort of combine a number of things that we've mentioned throughout this this series. Is it's sort of like the rule of 7, where you're in front of your audience over and over and over, dripping on them. It's also combining, like in this image right here, was a dental practice in Stanford that we work with, and we have them. Their ads are appearing on the Stanford Advocate and many other news sources, and those associating your business over and over and over in front of someone who has already been to your website, and they're now seeing your ads over and over on sites like the Stanford Advocate, or it could be the New York Post or many others. It gives you a lot more credibility. Sort of like combining the rule of 7 and press releases. And the same thing with, the Google search. It's that more visibility on important media platforms. The other thing is, again, this is sort of, I guess it's almost a duplicate in a way of the rule of 7 and display ads and everything, but it's really true. It's be consistent. And that really goes back to your business model. Whatever your business model is, you want to target a specific market. You want to know what the value of your clients are. You want to know who your clients are, where they are, what they want, how many can you handle, and you need to stay in front. You need a way to stay in front of them over and over and over. And that really, it's that constant repetition in front of the same audience over and over, that's going to just increase that that credibility and belief for your business. And the simple formula to grow your business is, you target your audience. Like I just said, target your local market. If you're a local business, target your local market, stay in front of them over and over, and focus on the benefits. What are they getting out of this? I think these three things sort of summarize everything that we just went over. That really wraps it up. We're about 45 minutes in. I hope this was helpful. If anybody has any questions, happy to help.
Ed, that was so great. There's so many golden nuggets there and presented so efficiently. It was outstanding. Speaking personally, I had a early mentor client years ago who was told that she needed a website, got a website, but she said a year later, I don't think anybody's ever going there. And I wish I had your list of 25 in front of me, because I think just about all of them she would have benefited from attempting them. Yes, so we are going to use the remainder of the time for questions and answers. We'll take as many as we can till 1 o'clock. So you can please submit them via the chat feature in the lower portion of the screen. One of the questions that came in had to do with Facebook. He said, she's asking, I've heard about using your private Facebook page for business, but how do you not double post?
How do you not double post? Well, if you're going to use your personal page as a business page, I see what you're saying. Okay, well, what you can do on your okay, so let's say I'll tell you what I do. And I am not the greatest at social media, but I think I'm getting better at it. But what I do is I have a private group, and my strategy is to get people in my private group. Now, what I'm doing is I'm creating a course on digital marketing, sort of about, the things that we went over here. And it's a course and a mastermind. So what I've done is I've utilized Facebook sort of like a sales funnel. So my personal page is just recaps of what's in my private business group. So I might make, let's say, for example, I was to create a post in my private Facebook group. It's called Local Marketing Strategies. If I was to, let's say I'm going to create a long post and it's going to be 25 belief factors that are going to help you grow your business. And then what I would do is I would take the same image, like I'll use canva.com to create my little graphics, and it might say 25 belief factors. And then what I'll do is I'll post that image on my personal page, and I'll say, today's topic at Local Marketing Strategies, join us for free, and I'll have a link to my private group. And what it's doing, I got to tell you, this has been wild. But I've been doing this for a little while now, and I'm building up a group. I already have people who have reached out to me personally and said, I want to buy your course. How much is it going to be? I'll give you the money now. I want to make sure that I get it. And that's been really interesting and where it's coming from is people are coming to my personal Facebook page. They're seeing my posts. They're going over to my private group. They're asking if they can join. I let them in the group, and then I start to post. So that's how I'm doing it. There's probably many different variations. Like if you have a public business page and your personal page, you have to think about how to do that. But that's sort of the strategy, I think.
Yep, great. Aaron's question is, how much does a press release of 250 words even cost?
I use there's a guy that he's got this program called Amplifier. I've used this program called Amplifier. He's also got another one called Press Cable. I think on Press Cable you can I think you can just get the press release. And what I've gotten value from are these premium ones that are about $200. And the $200 ones, when you get a press release, like you can write an article, submit it to these press sources, and maybe there's 400 or 500 news sources that you're going to get your article on. But there's a lot of, low value satellite news sources all over the country. But when you get on Yahoo or Morningstar, especially Yahoo, I find that I always get picked up by Google News as well. Those are about $200. I usually don't bother with the lower cost ones because I don't get any huge value out of them.
Yep.
But about $200.
$200, great. There's one here regarding from a visual artists and designers. Let's see, here specific question. Any applications, i.e. small businesses, not seeking mass audience for enormous business, but for a select group of customers?
Run that by me.
I think it's applications that would relate more to a small business for a select group of customers in a local business, I guess. What would be the best applications?
Facebook. The best applications for, you mean taking out of this list of 25? Right. What would you apply it to? I think quotes are valuable. Yeah. I think quotes are valuable. But I would use them sparingly. Like you can do a search for whatever topic, whatever related keyword to your topic, and just do famous quotes for whatever it is, and just use a few quotes here and there, like maybe on the top of the page. Those are great. I've been utilizing that tactic, and it like gets people almost like in a frenzy. It's like you feel this rock solid support. If you can figure out, who your target audience is and use images of that target audience, that's valuable. Now, if you take an image of your target audience and you use a quote relevant to it, that helps too. And then again, your reviews are always, I would say those three, I think, would be.
Yeah, I was curious whether there's any copyright problems or anything. I saw the image of Tony Robbins in that one picture. Is there any issues copyright wise? Do you ever get feed or kickback from people like that? Hey, you can't use my image, or?
No, because I'm number one, I'm referencing them.
Yeah.
I'm not stealing the image for my own and saying, hey, this is me. I'm giving them the footnote. I'm giving them I don't know what it is.
You're giving them credit, I guess.
Credit, I guess it is. Yeah.
So Warren is also asking, he's saying this is one of the best webinars I've seen. You've mentioned a lot of references that you've used. Is there any kind of printout of the references that you use? I don't know what he's referring to, references, but.
I don't have a printout of them. I'm not sure which ones, like if, just a couple things here. Like I use Canva to make images like this. Canva's great. It's like $10 a month. And, you can, let's see.
I think they're asking about the books that you've been referencing.
Oh, you know what? Okay. Yeah. So these books, go over to briankurtz.net, KURTZ, briankurtz.net. And you can find the books there. Be prepared to do some aggressive reading on those books. They're, the Brilliance Breakthrough is a fantastic book. It's all about the picture words. And that book is really nothing. It's all worksheets. So it's a real like roll up the sleeves type of book. The other one, Breakthrough Advertising, it's not a casual read. It's, it's like going out and playing football on a rainy, muddy day. It's that kind of book. You're going to have to work it. It's not just like sit back with your feet up type of book, but both of them are phenomenal. If you really want to learn about all these different, direct marketing tactics, which is, digital marketing is a form of direct response marketing.
Right. Mayo wants to know, do you suggest using Google My Business with a home address / business if you have a home address / business?
Yeah, I do it, but I don't publish my address on it. There's a couple ways that Google My Business works. Is if they'll ask you, do customers come to your location? And I'll say no, because people, even like I'm not in a commercial district, and you don't really want to. I've seen businesses who have run into problems with that, where their accounts has been their Google My Business accounts have been suspended. So unless you're, I would not list your address unless you're like in an office building or a retail location.
Got
If
it.
it's a home address, I would opt for the option to not publish your address.
Yep. Very good. Some people have asked for summaries or whatever, but I would recommend that just remind everybody that a recording of this webinar is available within a couple of days on the fairfieldcounty.score.org website. Please check out our website for further information on upcoming webinars. Again, SCORE offers free individual counseling, so please use the link on the screen. Well, it's not on the screen at the moment, but at our website, click on Request a Mentor. We are available for sessions via phone, email, and video currently. Also, please fill out the evaluations that have been sent at the end of the webinar. On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending today's SCORE live webinar. In closing today, a big thank you to Ed Winslow. Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, you're welcome. Pleasure. My pleasure.